Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are the scouting staff for the Hula Bowl. Today, I have with me one of the athletes who participated in that event this season. His name is Isaac Rex. He is a tight end out of BYU. Nice to have you, man.
No, thanks for having me, Jimmy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I definitely felt like we obviously wanted you at the Hula Bowl. Did very well for yourself there. But for the people who have yet to really truly meet you, it's probably a good thing for us to just kind of sit down and chit chat through a whole bunch of different things. So, why don't you go ahead and get us started? Let us know where you're from, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, my name's Isaac Rex. I'm from San Clemente, California. Yeah, I'm a California kid, born and raised. I played at BYU, Brigham Young University, was there for 5 years. And yeah, I played tight end. Yeah, I had a great experience at BYU. I just, um, really enjoyed my time being a Cougar, but excited to move on to the next level. And yeah, I appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, so a couple neat little things that I just kind of wanted to throw out there. Of course, your father had also played for BYU way back in the day,
Yep.
so you're kind of following in that sort of legacy, which I think is kind of neat. And then also found out earlier, just kind of looking through some of my notes, that you spoke some Samoan. Because that's where you did your mission. So definitely felt like it was meant to be for you to be one of the athletes that did come to the Hula Bowl. So first off, talk about the legacy that perhaps your dad has really instilled in you as an athlete, and maybe if any of his past success it maybe helped you along early on.
Yeah, so I was yeah, a BYU kid, born and raised. My dad played, back in the day, he played with Ty Detmer at BYU. He was a part of some really good
Nice.
teams. So he was played under Lavelle Edwards, legendary coach, and so he always instilled in me that BYU is the place to be. And so I've grown up a BYU fan. I remember going to games, going to basketball games, going to sports camps they had in Provo, and I just wanted to be a BYU Cougar ever since I was born. And so, my dad kind of, started that legacy, had a great career at BYU. He was a legend for, many things, even some things maybe outside of just playing football, in terms of he had kind of an incident at the University of Hawaii that a lot of fans remember him like flipping off the crowd, and they got on national television and stuff. So it's he was a fiery player, total stud. My mom, she graduated from BYU also, and so she was graduated, with the great degree there, and so she always instilled education in our family, wanted us to be smart. And yeah, I also have a younger brother who plays safety there. His name's Preston Rex, and I also have a younger brother who's in high school who hopefully will go there too. So yeah, we're a BYU family through and through, and that's basically started from my mom and my dad.
Awesome. And really nice to hear like that whole family atmosphere, that sort of influence. Um, yeah, I mean, let's just be real. BYU has an awesome legacy, great tradition. They were the school that, obviously, said, hey, come along. Why don't let's just go ahead and continue that tradition. So,
Hmm.
I do want to backtrack just a little bit because you said that you're what is it, San Clemente uh, guy there in California. That's where you went to high school. Um, what do you remember most about the high school days, man? Is there anybody perhaps that you played with that I might know?
Yeah, so San Clemente is actually a really good football school. They it's our motto is one town, one team, because it's the only high school in the town of San Clemente. So there's a lot of students, and they really love sports over there. They love basketball, they love football. Probably the most um, high profile athlete that played at San Clemente was Sam Darnold. Obviously he was a USC kid. He stayed in California and then got drafted to the Jets. But yeah, me, I know Sam, pretty well. He's older than me, but Sam is, a really cool guy. And then I played with, there's a lot of really good college guys that I played with. Cole Fotheringham, he's with the Raiders right now. He's a Utah tight end. Jack Sears, who's a USC quarterback. And I played with, a ton of good athletes and good players that went on to play D1. And so, yeah, San Clemente is really well coached too. I had a tight end coach by the name of John Allred, who is, he got drafted by the Bears back in the day, played at USC, and he, coaches a lot of NFL guys now. And so there's a lot of good resources. And even now, to this day, they weren't there when I was there, but Dennis Pitta, who played with the Ravens, is the wide receiver coach there. And then John Beck is also the quarterback coach there.
Wow.
And yeah, Coach Jaime Ortiz has built a really strong, legacy at San Clemente, and
And this is
it's
the
been
high
cool
school,
to see
man. I
them
mean,
grow.
it sounds
Yeah,
more along
it's
the
a high
lines as
school,
like
but
a,
they have NFL, they have NFL coaches all around. The guys who played in the NFL, the offense coordinators, his name's Troy Kopp, and yeah, he's been at San Clemente since I was there, and he was played at University of Pacific. He actually might have played he played the Japan Bowl back in the day. So it's a cool legacy at San Clemente. It's always good to go back home and learn from those guys still to this day.
nice. Obviously, very early on playing with some top competitors, and hopefully here very soon. Obviously, you had talked to Sam Darnold was a guy who played there. I don't know where Sam Darnold is right now. Because I think
Just
he
got picked up by the Vikings. So
okay, so that's just recent. It's hard to follow what's happening right now, but obviously
no, it's
free agent frenzy right now. But who knows, man? Maybe here very soon you may end up getting some targets from him here in the very near future. That would definitely be kind of neat. Um, I do want to kind of move along. Obviously, end up there at BYU amongst that tradition there. Go ahead and talk about that offense, maybe perhaps some of the people around you that made it a success. So go for it.
yeah. I mean, I was part of some really good teams at BYU. Obviously, we had some great quarterbacks. Started off with Zach Wilson was with me my freshman year, and we had a great connection. Then, Jaron Hall also we had a great connection too. And then yeah, this past year was Keaton Slovis. He kind of got hurt late in the year. We got Jake Retzlaff coming in, but yeah, Keaton he was a combine guy. He's at the Shrine Bowl with me. He's a really good player, and so yeah, I was lucky enough to play under Coach Roderick, who you know believed in me. Gave me the chance to have a great career at BYU and put me in some great positions to make some plays. And so yeah, I can't thank Coach Roderick enough, Coach Kalani, and all the whole offensive staff, even the defensive staff, for making my time at BYU so memorable. Especially yeah, Coach Clark also, who's my tight end coach. It was a great experience, and I was able to play with some great players, some great tight ends like Matt Bushman. He's with the Chiefs right now, and then obviously Dax Milne, wide receiver for the Commanders, and then Puka, and a lot of Puka obviously with the Rams. You
Yeah.
saw how he did last year. Tyler Algier, just a bunch of studs, man. So yeah, BYU obviously maybe not as high profile as other schools, but definitely a great football school and a great fan base too.
Yeah, things changed a little bit this past season, which obviously, with you guys moving from the independent scene to the Big 12. So definitely a very interesting, you know, environment there, playing against some new competition. But let's go ahead and focus just somewhat on you as prospect. I mean, obviously, we had a chance to see you up close and personal. And one of the things that I feel really separates you as a prospect is the fact that you aren't just a one trick pony. You are a solid overall type guy who can be a very good run blocker and a very, very good receiver as well. So Talk to me a little bit about what you feel you bring to the table as prospect.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was lucky enough at BYU where they trust me to play a variety of different roles. They had me line up as the X and Z on the outside. They had me line up in the slot as the Y. They had me as an inline tight end and also in that wing position, kind of that fullback role. And so, I was able to play a lot of different in a lot of different schemes also, blocking wide zone, blocking mid zone, being able to arc block for, whether that's jet sweeps or pullers, was able to block against DNs and linebackers and corners and safeties, they, they trust me to block a lot of variety of different players. And then also I felt like I ran most of the routes on the route tree and I was able to, catch slants from the outside and I was able to catch, out routes from the inside and seams. And, there's film of me catching a variety of different routes, crossers, over routes. And so to that, and even catching balls in the backfield on different screens, I was able to, get some touchdowns and yards off just screens in the backfield. So, yeah, I mean, I can't thank the coaches enough for believing in me and for enabling me to do a variety of different things. And so I think that's where my versatility comes in. And hopefully for a team out there, they can see that if they want to mold me to be a run blocker, they can. If they want to mold me to be in the slot, they can. If they want to mold me to arc block, be that fullback guy, I can. So it's yeah, I'm grateful for BYU in that aspect that I was able to play a variety of different positions and but also keep that traditional tight end role, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I mean, I guess obviously, you want to go ahead and be coachable and moldable, but maybe perhaps not moldable like 50 pounds more on you into like a lineman. That's not what we have here. We have a guy who's tight end. We have a guy who can get open, has very efficient hands. Do you want to kind of I don't know, play along with me real quick on something? So now to give me a couple favorites. One, favorite route to run for your quarterback. And then the other
Uh,
favorite run play to block for. Give me one of each.
yeah, I mean, I'd say on my favorite route is probably just an over route, just because you could run it in a variety of different ways in terms of, if it's man, you gotta give them kind of a stair step to break them off and get separation away from them and flatten it out. But also if it's zone, you're able to kind of find that pocket, settle down in different areas that you think you can get the ball, and you got to have a good relationship with your quarterback on over routes. And that was kind of probably one of my main routes at BYU, and getting that first down, 12 to 15 yards is kind of my money range. And then I guess my blocking, probably we ran a ton of wide zone at BYU, and that was, a shout out to Jeff Grimes, who's now the OC at Kansas. But my freshman year, he was really on me about being able to block wide zone, because that was his bread and butter, and he wanted, a tight end that wouldn't get crunched down. He wouldn't, get the edge set on him. He would be able to work a text block or a double team with the tackle. And so, yeah, that wide zone it's huge in the NFL too, and it's definitely a staple in a lot of offenses. And so I've been able to get a ton of reps at blocking that, and been coached by the best at how to block wide zone.
Cool. Sometimes I feel like the tight end position is somewhat polarizing. If you can follow along just a moment, I mean, sometimes literally you get a guy who's just a big wide receiver, or maybe just an extension of the offensive line, depending on you know, depending on the school. But it's nice to be able to have a guy like yourself, who is a little bit of a throwback, who can do a little bit of everything, who can line up anywhere, who can, be a very effective blocker and receiver. But Isaac, again, we liked what we saw, with our scouts at the Hula Bowl. I know we probably went to at least one game. We scouted several games, and gave you the opportunity to first come to the Hula Bowl, which is in Orlando. So maybe a bit of a different experience for you, but maybe perhaps surrounded by some guys who I think you know. So talk about your experience with us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was really cool because I was able to play with guys that I played with in the past, like Clark Barrington, who transferred to Baylor, and Gabe Judy Lawley, he transferred to Tennessee. And so to see those guys again and just hang out with them was really fun. But also Ryan Rico, he was our punter this last year. He was there, and so I met a lot of awesome guys too. I met a lot of great tight ends that um, we still keep in touch this day. And it was also able to give me an opportunity to show what I had, and to play for Coach Billick, who coached in a Super Bowl and is a total stud. It was great to learn under him. Marcus Lewis. It was so fun to learn under him because he's now with the Raiders, and it's really cool to see how those coaches who were at the Hula Bowl with us are now moving on to the NFL. And so yeah, I really had a great experience, and it was great to just show kind of what I had personally to scouts and to compete, at in Orlando. So yeah, obviously I want to thank you again for sending me the invite. It was definitely a great experience.
Hey, I mean, you definitely earned it. I will say it was by no coincidence that I put you on the same on Brian Billick's team. Brian Billick is a BYU alum, and so I thought that hey, it was just kind of fitting to have you and some of the other people there as well. It just made sense. So
Well, yeah, and he called me Cougar pretty much the whole week until probably the last day. Once he started getting names down, but he uh, he knew that if I'm gonna have a BYU Cougar on my team, he better be good and he better know the place. So he was on me. He didn't let me slack off. He didn't want to have his alumni be tainted. So yeah, he was a really good coach. So really cool guy.
cool. And one of the good things that you've been able to do, man, is you've been able to meet a lot of people over your time. I mean, you started at the Hula Bowl. You get an invite to the Shrine too, which is awesome. And I would imagine, you have an opportunity at both of these events to sit down with pretty much every team in the NFL, talk to them, and interview them. How did those go?
Yeah, the interview process was great. I mean, I was able to talk to, yeah, like you said, pretty much every team in the NFL between the two games. Even some teams I met with twice, at the Shrine and at the Hula. So it was like a very cool experience for them to, get to know me even better, get to see me again, get to see me move against even, against different competition at the Shrine. Even though there was a ton of, I mean, it seemed like there was a ton of Hula Bowl guys at the Shrine. It was really cool to see how, uh, we all already knew each other. That made sense before
It's
the
like, hey,
Hula
I
Bowl.
just
So
saw you
going
just a couple
to the
weeks
Shrine
ago,
Bowl,
man.
it was like seeing your old teammates again. It was funny. So yeah, but yeah, it was awesome to meet the teams and to get that experience down at the Hula Bowl was great. And then just to have that week at the Hula Bowl to go in the Shrine was awesome too. So they both like uh, correlated with each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, dude, we primed you up. We got you started with the All-Star circuit, and then you ended up moving on, getting another opportunity to showcase your talent at the East-West Shrine. Obviously, in a position right now where you're done with your BYU days, you're moving forward to hopefully being drafted here very soon. Um, Very interesting. Have you had time to really I don't know, embrace it, like that you might, perhaps get drafted and see yourself in an NFL helmet here very soon?
Yeah, I mean, whatever God's will is, what I'll do, whether that's me being drafted, whether that's you know, undrafted free agent, you're still getting the same opportunity no matter what happens. Obviously, it would be amazing to be drafted, but just to get that shot is all I really want. And, it's something that, I feel like I can take advantage of. And I can't thank the Hula Bowl enough for getting me started, on that All-Star circuit, that I was able to get in front of teams, that I was able to talk to them, get to know them, see what they're looking for in, a tight end and how I can even improve. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a crazy process this rookie year,
Absolutely.
but whatever happens, happens, and I'm just along for the ride. So.
Um, I was gonna ask you real quick, come draft day, like, do you have any plans? I mean, you're gonna have some people over, you're gonna be hanging out, watching the draft itself, or you're gonna be doing something else? You have any plans right now or no?
Well, I'll be in California, so I think I'm honestly going to go surfing. And, if I get a call, that'll be great. But I'm not going to be, I don't think I'm going to be sitting in front of my TV just staring, at every pick, just because that would be maybe a little too stressful. But, I'm going to be next to a phone and maybe doing something else, just hanging out with my family, my wife, and my kid, and just enjoying, this whole process. So I know it's going to come, sooner rather than later. So you gotta just enjoy this moment and yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, by the time the draft is over, you're likely going to get a call anyways at some point, even if it is a team that wants to sign you immediately after the draft. I mean, you're going to get a call. So just make sure that that phone volume is up all the way, depending on what you're doing, you know what I mean? So you don't miss that call because it could be anybody. It's obviously going to end up being your agent saying, "Hey, you want to go play for so and so?" I mean, they're willing to, pay you this money. I mean, you're going to be in a great position. So
No, I'm
it'll be nice.
excited, man. Yeah, it's gonna be great, and yeah, whatever happens, happens. And I know that whoever team, whether they draft me or sign me, they'll get the best from me. They'll get everything I got, and they'll get a good, versatile player that can, hopefully stick in the league for a long time.
Um, Isaac, I got a couple minutes left over that I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, maybe see if there's anything else that you feel people need to know about you. Maybe outside of a player. We've talked a whole lot about you as a person, some of your background. But is there anything else about Isaac Rex as a person that perhaps people need to know?
Um, you know, Nothing much. I mean, I feel like relaxed guy. I have a wife and a kid, so definitely not going out or, doing stupid stuff. If that makes sense. Like this is a business for me. All this football stuff is I take it very seriously. And so, when I'm doing football stuff, I'm doing football stuff. When I'm not, I'm hanging out with my wife Lexi, and my little son. And so, yeah, my son will be playing for the Hula Bowl hopefully one day. My wife is she was an
Maybe
outside
20
hitter at
years.
UVU. She's like 6'2". I don't know if you saw her at the Hula Bowl. She was down there. She was in a hotel, but she can jump. Her uncle's played in the NBA. She is a total stud. And so one day, hopefully, my son is playing in the Hula Bowl too. He may be a left tackle, but he's going to be a big kid for sure. Just keep an eye out for him. His name's Luca Rex. Yeah, so uh, once that kid starts hitting the age of 15, we'll be shopping him around to different colleges and stuff. So
Yeah, he'll probably still end up at BYU though. Let's just be real. So,
yeah,
um, well,
but
cool.
I'm definitely my wife's not a BYU graduate, so maybe her family's actually huge Utah fans. So
Oh, so there's a bit of a rivalry there. Wow.
very, yeah, her uncles played for Utah basketball back in the day when they went to the Final Four. And her dad and mom both went to the U. And so they are Utes through and through. I'm like the only Cougar besides Alexi's aunt who actually went to BYU and played basketball. So they're
Wow.
huge Ute fans. So there's always a little clashing in the group chat, the family group chat, bragging rights. Luckily, I have not lost to Utah in my playing career. So we beat them back in 2021, and we haven't played them since. So 1-0 against them. So we'll take it. I could always say I haven't lost to Utah, sadly.
Well, hey, I do think that it would make an interesting story to figure out how in the world you met up with your wife, because I think it's interesting, but we really don't have time for it. Obviously, there's a lot going for you as a prospect. You positioned yourself in such a way so that everybody in the NFL knows you. You've got the tape. They've seen you. Everyone's done the deep dive on you as a person and a player. Know that the character is top notch. I also have in my notes that you're an Eagle Scout, which I thought that was kind of neat. But
Yeah.
yeah, character obviously something great, and you have a lot going for you as a prospect. As we close up, any final thoughts?
Nope. I appreciate you interviewing me, Jimmy. And yeah, good luck to you the rest of the way. Obviously, you're going to continue scouting, and yeah, that's exciting. So appreciate you, Jimmy. You do an awesome job.
Thank you, buddy. Definitely already looking forward to next season. So,
Yeah.
um, well, Isaac, best of luck to you. I know you have a pro day here very soon with the Big 12, and wish you very best of luck in that and everything else you got. All right.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you, Jimmy.
Sure, man. Once again, we have Isaac Rex, tight end BYU. Check him out. He's going to be playing at the next level here very soon.